Welcome to Fouts Boxing Theory. We're going to be going over a quick film study of Avanesyan versus Ennis and some things that I noticed. First off, very quick jabs from Ennis getting on the line. And Avanesyan has a few choices, right? He can either counter the jabs right away, sometimes with Ennis peeling, or he can do nothing and allow Ennis to follow up and throw combinations. Kind of a couple very problematic dilemmas for the smaller, shorter fighter, kind of getting smacked right there and getting knocked off balance from Ennis's jab. But I'm gonna have this fight playing on in the background. That's one of my students' his most recent fight. It's only his 11th fight, but he knocks that kid out. Now, again, getting on the line, catching Avanesyan, trying to circle, and when he gets on the front foot here, another one of those problems. He has to bring his weight to the front foot in order to continue circling. And again, this is one of those places that Ennis is going to be looking for him to follow up and throw combinations when his weight gets kind of stagnant. And it becomes very predictable that he's going to bring his weight, especially to the front foot here, and then back to the back foot, front foot. And now where's it going to go? Back to the back foot, and he didn't have his guard up. And just like a very beautiful left hook right there from my boy. Now again, very sick jab from Ennis right there. And again, Avanesyan usually looking to counter after that shot, so we can see Ennis going first on layer 1 and Avanesyan going second on layer 2 right there. Now again, very some common very patterns, and he gets to the front foot here and expecting a little bit of that play of the lead hand here from Ennis, a little bit of the leashing here, getting that shot here, and then a little bit of a pull counter from Ennis. And very interesting, the shifting from Avanesyan, and then again, Ennis still ready to pull and fight on additional layers. Again, each of them taking a turn in those little beats right there to go and land some shots or attempt to, right? Now again, Avanesyan trying to get his way to that leg, trying to circle, trying to get out of the off the line of Ennis because he's not fast, he's not as strong, right? He is fast, but he's not as fast as Ennis, he's not as strong, he's not as athletic, but it's also about the reach, right? Ennis can do that stuff from farther away, and as he's trying to transfer his weight and move around the ring, Ennis is finding these holes to let these combinations go. Again, trying to time him when he's bringing his weight, circling around to land these excellent body shots. Beautiful performance, and a lot of great ring generalship from Ennis. And Avanesyan struggling quite a bit. Again, rear hand here, following him up. Again, trying to follow that shot back. Again, struggling to get on the line with Ennis. Now, he can't do that every time, can he? Here's another one. Pull counter. Boom, walks right into a shot from Ennis. Again, so many traps from Ennis. Again, he doesn't know if he's going to be fighting off the first punch, the second punch. It's going to be a combination. Again, here's another probe, pulling, and then into another pull counter. Again, Ennis fighting on the third layer here, drawing Avanesyan in on that normal pattern of behavior of his. Again, if Avanesyan doesn't try to counter that first shot, or follow it back, it leaves more openings for those combinations. And then if he does, he winds up in a position where he has to fight these pull counters. So these are just some terrible dilemmas for, again, the shorter, less athletic fighter to be in constantly. Now again, jab, controlling the space with his leash, getting the reaction, getting under it, countering to the body here. Another layer here. They're on the third contact. Now fourth contact, Avanesyan's coming in with the shot. Ennis is getting under it again. But again, one of the problems with fighters that spoil, that are less athletic, that aren't as good at fighting. We had some sick pull counters, some really sick sequences here, and now spoiled because Avanesyan is going to hold him on the head. Now, Avanesyan also gets punched in the crotch right here. He gets punched low, but that's because he wouldn't allow Ennis to bring his weight up, right? We drive our weight from the ground up. We punch with both feet. If you guys are interested in learning how all your body mechanics work, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat Academy or the Fouts Boxing Academy in the description below. He has over 100 drills. It's on a Discord server. There's already over 40 members. Also, all my film studies, post-fight film studies are all posted there, as well as boxing lessons for everybody who sends in work. If you guys are interested in getting better at boxing, learning the patterns, and being part of the number one boxing academy, the number one boxing community on the planet, where people talk real boxing, okay, a real community of real fighters, real film study artists, and some people that I've been working with for a few years now who are near experts in my craft and what I teach. Also, I'm the first coach, and obviously, if I'm the first coach, I'm actually the only coach in history to be able to crack punching power, to be able to teach it to anybody, figure out every body mechanic, and the drills that I use to teach people how to punch hard are on the Discord server as well. Again, there are over 100 drills, over 40 people on the server already. It's very, very brand new already. It's only a month old, but yeah, a lot going on, a lot of film studies. We're also doing delving into the boxing betting, and we're going to be talking and teaching. We're going to be teaching through those because it's more fun to, be able to bet on the fights and stuff as well. But we're going to be using these lower level fights that have, usually people with outrageous, um, plus and minuses, finding some good underdogs and winning some good money because they break the rules of Fouts boxing. So if you guys are interested, check that stuff out. And check out the reviews for the Combat Academy. Again, if you guys are also interested in just learning this stuff by yourselves, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. It's $2.99. It has over 40 hours of teaching, of drills, of stuff to learn from. But yeah, check it out. I'm the first coach in history to be able to teach punching power and to be able to teach anyone in the world, man or woman, how to be a real striker. Okay? Anyway, here we go. Getting back into the film study again. And one of the problems with him spoiling right there, he winds up actually punching him in the dick because he's spoiling the fight. So him spoiling the fight winds up being actually bad for him. Now, very, very interesting. Again, he's leashing him with the lead hand here. Control. Avanesyan's going to break off that jab into a counter to follow it back. And Ennis is just so fast. He's smacking him with that hook right there. Really, really, really good shot. Now, again, Avanesyan trying to get on top of him here. Boom, 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 boom. Not a great spoil for him there. But again, this is one of those things that lesser fighters are going to do so that they don't wind up falling behind. Again, Avanesyan getting on top of his head. He can't compete with Ennis. He doesn't train as hard. He's not as fast. He's not as good of an athlete, right? He's not as good of a boxer. All of these things compound into Avanesyan basically having to hold and grab him, hold his head, and get punched low and take like a 2-minute break just so that he could survive. The amount of pressure that he was on under even just the first round was a really, really, really high amount of pressure. And it's very likely that he got that break with the low blow, a little probing here, and that's why he was able to survive as long as he did in the fight. And now he's going to get on the line with the stepping jab. Again, is Avanesyan going to follow him back? No. Right? Can he do that every single time? I don't know. Can he? Pop, 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 pop. Right? Boom. Eating a couple of clean shots. Couldn't follow him back that time. And it's right back to leashing. Hey, what do you think about this? No? Now he's following him back. Again, you can't predict every single time, and it makes Ennis so very difficult to fight. Little combination, gets under that shot. Beautiful, beautiful sequences here. Really, really high level boxing overall. Hey, don't hold my guy right there, bro. You gonna get him? You gonna get him? No holding, bro. No holding. Let him go. I think he's gonna get him right here. Boom, little overhand. Oh, got him with a left hook. Another left hook and an overhand. Little 8 count right there. Chasing him with the leaping hook. Boom. Wow. Tries to hold him. Hit him with a combination again. Set him with a trap right there. And the referee's seen enough. Boom, boom, boom. Throws a combination. He pulls it. Gets under it. Again, very, very high level fight. Thought it was a really, really sick fight, you guys. Now we're going to get into a little bit of the stuff that I thought was a little bit less good here as we get into the second round. Now first gets onto the line, again expecting a little bit of a jab here from Ennis. Control here, and then another control here, gets under. Didn't get a leash, however he winds up on the line with Ennis. Thinks he's safe, throws these punches, but Ennis hasn't even done anything on the line yet. And doesn't have any defensive responsibility. Boom, boom, eats some hard shots. And again, Avanesyan, even when he gets to go first here, he got on the line safely, everything went well, didn't get off the line safely, didn't think that it was like necessary. He winds up losing his own sequence there. Now, this is a really, really interesting sequence here because it kind of shows that uh, Ennis has some of the best, worst defense in all of boxing here. So here, seeing the shot coming, see him getting the block up here, block, block, right? He has it up here, gets smacked, block, has it up here, sees the next punch is going to come from that side, gets his guard up, starts, misses this block. Hmm? Again, he's seeing all this, the weight transitions coming from him, but he's getting hit with every single punch in this sequence. It's so fascinating to see that, you know, he's not really behind, but he's not really ahead there either. Now, again, good job leashing here, control. Very, very, very interesting because we watched that whole sequence, stepping jab here. Okay, what do you think about that? Gives him a feint here. Boom. What do you think about that? Okay, let's give him the same feint. He's going to make that break. Bop. Slips to the inside. Avanesyan's trying to throw an overhand right, and he's already slipped to the outside. Boom. Lands an excellent body shot. And again, Ennis was landing shots like this where Avanesyan was just so far out of position. He was just so far out of the realm of doing something, um, productive for the fight that a lot of it just looked like he was, in Narnia, an amateur. Now, very interesting. He's going to be trying to break into this left hook here, or this right hook off of the jab, right? Controlling him here. And then again, trying to time Avanesyan with that shot again. Right? And then controlling him. But it's very interesting. He finally gets it off, right? Gets the rear hand to the body, gets the hook. Now he's in this terrible position where he's eating shots on the ropes. Now, we have to remember that Avanesyan is not Terence Crawford. Otherwise, he would have beaten Terence Crawford. And if Ennis is putting himself in positions like this, especially where he's going to be trying to set the same trap 3 times in a row. Do you guys remember when Tank Davis said, "Who throw the same punch 3 times in a row?" Right? And then Ryan Garcia apparently did it 4 times in a row, and then Tank Davis dropped him. But you can't use the same trap. You have to be crafty, right? And that's one interesting thing. If you watch a lot of the patterns that Mayweather would do, if you would, sometimes he would give you the pull counter rip twice in a row. But if he gave it to you once in a row, often he would abandon it. He would be like, "Oh, I just told him. I'm not going to do it again." But he might do it twice in a row if it was like real quick beats. But often he wouldn't have a problem abandoning a trap. And it's very interesting to see Ennis right there um, so staunch on finding that trap right there that he does it 3 times in a row. Now, again, some of the best, worst defense in boxing. Now, he's going to have this this southpaw Philly shell here with the right shoulder low this whole sequence here. Never able to block a punch, never, not really getting hit super hard, super clean, but again, he's fighting Avanesyan, right? He's not fighting, the guy that he wants, that everyone wants him to fight, Terence Crawford, who's faster, sharper. Now this is really, really cool. He's going to be leashing him here with the lead hand here. Gets a reaction, immediately breaks into the overhand shot, cracks him with that. Sick work. Now, very interesting. Goes pop, pop with the other side. Boom to here. And then goes body, body. Excellent shot. Again, huge combination. I want you to pay attention to him posting here, shoving him, controlling him with the head. Again, manual control like this is illegal. And one of the reasons why it's important, again, this kid could not get away from him. Boom, boom, boom. Control, 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 control. Excellent timing. Now, again, some of the best, worst defense because he's not getting hit exactly clean here. He is kind of pulling a little bit with it. He's not getting hit clean, so that is very, very, very important. But it is a hole that was open on the both Philly shells, basically, right? And um, that against somebody who may be fast, right? Snappy. Okay, again, open on the inside here, controlling the head. Not exactly legal, not the most illegal. But I just wanted to point out that it's very interesting that Ennis finds himself in a position where he looks to be using um, his athleticism for his defense, right? His eyes, right, rather than his, control the line, this or that, and people don't just do that, and again, he's not getting hit all the most cleanly, but again, he's also not fighting Terrence Crawford right now. Now, when we take a look at again some of the things that are concerning, I want you to take a look at Ennis's left hand right here, kind of controlling and shoving Avanesyan into that shot here, and then immediately goes back to his post, right? Controlling. Again, this is not legal. You're not allowed to do that. Getting hit here for no reason. Getting hit here for no reason. Okay. And again, going back to that little control there, shoving here, and look at him finding this huge, huge, huge shot off the back of that control, right? Shoving him into that move. Now, it's so fascinating because he lands that excellent shot and then immediately followed up on right here, landing an excellent shot on Ennis. And again, it's interesting because it makes you wonder if Ennis is really, and again, is Ennis a hard puncher? Like obviously, like we know he has a lot of knockouts. Like he's gonna knock you out, but one thing we want to be mindful of, he is bigger than everyone he fights, right? He's pretty strong, pretty ripped and all that stuff, but he does hit them a lot. He does land a lot of clean blows. Again, shoving, controlling, illegal. That Shakur Stevenson crap is not legal, guys. Here's the referee warning him. Now, the first time I brought this clip up, the referee was warning him again. Okay, and that was in the last round at the end of the fourth round. I don't know exactly how many other times he was warned for this, but this is illegal. Now, if he was fighting someone as big as he was or bigger, he would be getting punched in the face. This doesn't work against guys who are as big as you or bigger than you. Mm. This definitely doesn't work against people who are bigger than you. It doesn't work. No. Whoever you are in the comments section, no. This is weight bully tactics, and that's why it's illegal. Same thing with grabbing a guy by the waist. Same thing like holding, right? Anything that's going to give you an advantage only because you're the bigger guy. Now, this right here, Ennis is on the front foot here in what I call position one on the front foot. Okay, the front foot position is something that I created a few years ago to teach boxing. And if we go a little bit full circle, one of the first videos I used to teach it was to teach people not to exit the front foot after throwing a rear hand. It's very important that they chain their moves together and you learn to do something with that, that weight transition of transferring your weight back to the back foot, because Ennis is going to transfer his weight, boom, boom, throws this shot. And now, in order to get back to his quote unquote stance, and this is why I don't teach quote unquote stances, I think the quote unquote stance is a trap. You want to be teaching positional combat, right? And again, position one and position two are the front foot position, the back foot position. I created these positions to teach boxing. If you're interested in learning more about these structures, more about how to create them, more about how to get the most out of them, for your boxing, for all sports, check out the Fouts Boxing Academy or the Fouts Boxing Combat System. If you prefer to train alone, get the Fouts Boxing Combat System. If you want to train it with a community, if you want to watch other people train and grow and all that stuff, check out the Fouts Boxing Academy. But again, I was ruthlessly criticized by the community, because of the idea that I taught people not to just move back to their stance, especially when practicing their rear punches. Now, Ennis is going to cross the line here, and he's going to cross the line and move back across the line of his opponent's left hand and get hit with a left hook here. Now, he does the same thing against Thomas Delorme. All right, and when he's going for the KO, he gets cracked by Thomas Delorme, and there was a big, big, big like thing. This guy joined my Patreon at the time and wanted to argue with me about it and all this stuff, and I just predicted. I was just like, look, he's gonna beat Delorme, but watch, he's gonna get cracked hard for no reason at a time you're not even expecting it to happen when he's so far ahead. And I don't know if you guys remember Harold Graham fighting Julian Jackson. Um, but Harold Graham got smoked. He in a fight that he was dominating because he crossed the line unnecessarily too many times and got caught. This is one of the biggest flaws that uh, Jaron Ennis has, and it's a flaw I've been calling out for a few years. Again, it's my theory that positional based combat dictates that after you throw a punch that you're not allowed to cross the line for no reason. You can't just cross the line. You have to fight from the left side of the line. Okay, again, this is my own personal theory. Let's take a look at how that goes for his opponent. Okay, boom, throws this shot. He's going to be putting a little pressure on Ennis. Again, Ennis not having the greatest leashes in the fifth round. I don't think he's tired necessarily, right? But can't be just beating some guy's ass all fight. Now, he's going to throw a shot. Avanesyan throws a nasty shot here. Now, look at where Avanesyan is. He's on the front foot. He just threw a rear hand. His weight's more toward the left leg. Now he's going to try to exit this position instead of defending his position. Instead of being able to block and defend this position, he crosses the line, doesn't come with a punch, doesn't make it fast, doesn't make it snappy, doesn't roll under the line like Mayweather does, doesn't block the punch, doesn't. What he does do is he walks right into a shot that he's trying to transfer his weight out of and winds up going down. Now, the difference between these two sequences is obvious. One of these guys is Jaron Ennis, and one of these guys is not. One of these guys is, 5'10" in the welterweight division, and one of them is not. One of them takes their role way, way, way more seriously than the other, right? Ennis is, on average, way stronger and bigger, right? Not that you can train being bigger, but Avanesyan could get bigger and put on a little bit more weight to compete with somebody who's 5'10", be in better shape, be stronger. Anyway, it's interesting to see that we have the obvious, and I want to say this like loosely because, you know, it's interesting. It's an interesting idea because Jaron Ennis is 5'10". Do you know who else is 5'10"? Mike Tyson. Jaron Ennis is fighting at 147. Mike Tyson fought at over 220. And these men are the same size. Kind of. Now, one of my all-time favorite fighters is a welterweight fighter. It's Thomas Hearns. I think he was 6'1". Also a weight bully, but incredibly talented, to be able to do what he did at that size and, just amazing. All that said, we see a very, very, very hyper offensive fighter in the early rounds, throwing lots of combinations. And then we see a leashless, guardless fighter sitting on the ropes, sitting in front of his opponent, resting. We see a guy catching and rolling with some punches, seeing them all coming, but still getting hit clean with too many. And then we see somebody, on we see Terrence Crawford on the horizon. And people are talking about Crawford versus Ennis a lot. Crawford's been on a mission, and he recognizes what mission he's been on for a while. Um, when people talk about him going for Mayweather's record, and he's like, "Nah, I ain't going for that record. That's Mayweather's thing." Recognizing that's Mayweather's thing, he's not a biter, so he's gonna do his own thing, right? So he has a path. He knows what it is, and it's like those undisputed titles. He did it. He did it at 147 most recently. He did it at his other weight class. He's gonna try to do it at 54. I don't know if he's gonna succeed at 154. Probably, probably, but I don't know if I think the only other real competition for Ennis was Virgil Ortiz, and I think Virgil Ortiz has moved up. I think Virgil Ortiz has moved up to 54, and he's even having trouble in 54 now. So I think Ennis has a long road ahead of him for not a long road like that way that it's that people say like, oh, but like it's gonna be a while before anybody challenges Ennis, before anybody can really, I think Crawford and Virgil Ortiz are the only guys in and around that weight class that are going to be a challenge for him. Everyone else should be a breeze. Um, you know, Avanesyan was a fun and you know entertaining fight, and Ennis is not going to have any not fun and entertaining fights. He just doesn't have that in him. I don't think. You say that, and then you watch Teofimo Lopez have a stinker or two. Even though like if you're a boxing fan, you're a purist. Like nothing Teofimo Lopez does winds up being any. Oh, look at him catch him with that fucking leaping hook. Get over here, bitch. Where you fucking going? Boom. I said, I said, bitch, bitch. Look at him. Didn't he go out right there? He fucking went out, right? He went out, right? Pull, boom, boom, boom. Three punch combination off a pull counter. Pop, 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 pop. Mm. But I think there's it's not a difficult fix. A few of the things that are wrong with Ennis, they're not difficult fixes, but it'll take a keen eye, a keen study, to be able to figure them out and figure out how, more importantly, not just figure them out, but how to appropriately train them in all facets of your training, figuring out all the places that he needs to fix it to make sure that it sticks. But yeah, it was a great fight. It was a great fight. It was really fun. Um, yeah, and don't forget to check out the Fouts Boxing Academy, guys. Again, it's the sickest boxing community on the planet.